What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Tuesday. Wait, today's Tuesday, right? Yes,
Yes.
Tuesday episode of The Voice of Reason. As you can see, Liz Mikitarian, founder of Stop Moms for Liberty, is
Hi, my
back.
internet sons. How you doing
Right?
today?
I
Yay.
know. I'm so glad to have you back on.
My pleasure.
Yeah. You got it just in time, right? Where were you
Yeah.
coming from?
I actually flew out of Rhode Island
Ooh.
and had the pleasure of
Oh.
seeing ice at the airport.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Tartan?
Actually makes more sense to me than
Mhm.
ice at the local bakery.
Right. I see him a lot at
Oh, I see
Union
what you-
Station.
An
There's a
airport
lot
would
of
make
them.
sense at least, but I
Right.
was pretty.
Well, at least at the airport they have de-icing machines. So
This is true. This is true, especially in New
Very
England
true.
area. But I'm back in Florida for a little bit and glad to join you guys.
Nice. So we have a very special show lined up for you and a very special guest. Of course, we're going to be talking about education, but more so this time about the group specifically, Moms for Liberty, and what they've been up to, especially down in South Carolina, which we were just talking before the show. It was actually, I was stationed in Charleston, South Carolina, when I was a youth, running the streets, getting in trouble, getting in way too much trouble.
Yeah.
But no,
way before you were a political commentator.
Right, exactly. Oh, just before before Liz introduces our guest, just a reminder, everybody, I'm going to DC. I'm leaving this Sunday, first thing in the morning. I should be at Union Station before noon or by noon at the latest, and we'll see what happens. I'll be there for an entire week. Again, I'm going to do a live stream in front of the Heritage Foundation. I actually have a
wait for
couple
that.
guests lined up
Nice.
for on-location interviews, and
Nice.
it's going to be a lot of fun. I got a lot of stuff planned.
Look at
so we're gonna-
Jeremy being a little embedded reporter type guy.
I know. That's what I feel like almost. Like I'm
Well, it's boots on
participating,
the
but
ground. We can't all be there, so
Yep,
I'm so
that's
grateful.
our
I'm taking
show.
it seriously though. Like
Yeah,
I'm participating because, not just because I was a veteran, but my father before me, but at the same time, I am looking at it from like a journalistic point of view.
Yeah.
I am trying to document as much as possible, unfiltered, unbiased by the corporate media or any sponsors or anything like that. And thanks again to everybody that's donated. We're like $105 short, I think. of
I
hitting
still
our goal.
haven't put my portion in for the usual trip.
Oh, geez, no, not again.
Dude,
But anyway, thank
it's
you
our
guys
show.
so
I'm gonna
much.
contribute.
Yeah, so it's gonna be cheaper this time around though, because thanks to all the amazing people I met last time, I'm gonna have a place to stay. So I'm just
good.
travel money.
Veterans take care of their
parking.
own.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
parking is like $20+ a day alone. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, thanks to you guys. It's just honestly, this year has been life changing. Especially, I know I could probably speak for Mike on this one. Just from going to our first protest and just seeing what this is all about to like
Yep.
just this is our 14th trip / protest event, whatever you want to call it, and it's definitely the longest one. Going down for an entire 7 days. So thanks to you guys. Like this has been a dream come true because we always talked about. I say this all the time, and I know you guys. I sound like repeating myself, but this is what we wanted to do. We never wanted just to be the guys behind the computer. We
Yeah.
never wanted to be the ones just talk, but never actually go out into the streets and show you what's going on. So, anybody could sit behind a computer, read a couple news stories, and report on it. That's not hard to do. But what is hard to do is actually, put yourself out there, especially
there,
these
yeah.
days, because you can honestly get arrested just for pointing the camera at the wrong person these days, or if you have the wrong skin color, since the Supreme Court made it illegal to racially profile. But anyway,
Yay.
back to I know. So we're really close to hitting our goal. If you guys want to help us hit our goal, the GoFundMe link is in the link tree, which is in the description of the video, or on our channel page, depending on what platform you are following us on. So back to the show. Liz, thank you so much for bringing us another amazing guest.
Yes.
So if you could let us know a little bit about him, and then
Yeah.
I have a video we can watch before we bring him on.
Okay. I'm really happy to have Pastor Dixon join us tonight. I've been following his work for quite a while. He is a member of Stop Moms for Liberty, South Carolina, and
Nice.
he's located in Charleston, South Carolina. And like a lot of places across the country, they have been infiltrated by Moms for Liberty. And his story is one of fighting back against Moms for Liberty and some of their atrocious behavior. I'll share
It is,
some
man.
other examples tonight, but this one in particular shows how we can fight back and alert our communities when there are really rotten things happening under this name of parental rights and, the holier than thou, Moms for Liberty. They're trying to save our children, when in fact, they're actually harming our children.
I think we
So,
can see now that this has nothing to do, not a damn thing to do with protecting kids.
What? It
I don't
has
want to
to
hear
do with
that ever
parental
again.
ego?
I don't want to hear that anymore. I
Mhm.
don't want to hear that after what's just recently happened at the White House, especially with the most recent revelations. This has nothing to do with protecting children.
Well, it never did, because it has everything to do with the ego of the people that like to hear themselves talk.
yeah,
Children are
absolutely.
targets to these people. They're
Yep.
truly, that's what they want. They want to groom the future generations
Mhm.
in this Christian nationalist image that they have in their heads. That's what they're trying to do, and that's what
And
Moms
it's
for
good to
Liberty is all
have
about.
clergy willing to stand up against that, especially
Right.
when they're sometimes often targets themselves by these people.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so Pastor has a nice following in Charleston and is able to get a lot of people at meetings and to the school board meetings, which is like critical everywhere in the country.
Mm.
And I'm just thrilled to have him on here with us.
Nice. So before I
Let's bring
bring
him
him on, let me go ahead and play this video.
Well,
and
let's
then-
bring him on first
Oh, okay. We
so
can
he
do
can
that.
just say hello.
Hello, Pastor Dixon. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you
Thank
for
you for-
having me.
Thank you for taking your time
Absolutely.
to join us, to join our humble
Absolutely.
show.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I looked at it a little bit. You'd actually have run for office a couple times, I believe. Was it the mayor of North Charleston and something else? I can't remember.
Yeah, mayor of North Charleston in 2019, but before that, 2016 was for U.S. Senate against Tim Scott in South
Oh.
Carolina.
Oh, God.
And
Oh, we could have had you instead. Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
serious. That one of the
for,
most
not,
useless
for
individuals.
9 years already.
Mhm.
He is useless.
Yes, absolutely. Well, he serves their purpose. He
Oh, of
serves
course.
Yeah,
their purpose.
Of
exactly.
course. That's all it
And,
is.
that's all he's there for, is to serve their purpose. And once they get through, they'll throw him out like old trash. So
Mhm.
he'll be all right.
Yeah.
That's what they wouldn't let me in, see, because I wouldn't get thrown out.
And you changed some things.
Yeah,
None
we
of that
we
status
around
quo.
here. To be honest with you, Bernie Sanders would have loved the last 9 years having me standing next to him in Congress.
I know, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I showed a video of Bernie yesterday, and I grilling RFK Jr.
Yeah, that
I
was
like
pretty
I like
nice.
Bernie. I do like Bernie.
I do too.
Well, we
He's one of
screwed
the
that
few-
up.
Yeah, he's one of the few politicians they still have respect for. It's doing the list is getting small, unfortunately.
Pastor, you have a lot of people saying hello to you and in the
Yep.
comments.
Okay,
I don't know if
all
you'll
right.
be able to follow that, but
Mm,
yeah. So Jeremy, you said you wanted to kick us off with a video tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. It's a little bit longer. It's like 1 minute and 40 seconds, but I think it's
Okay.
definitely worth watching. So let me go ahead and play that.
Our children are watching,
Oops,
and
sorry.
they will follow
Let me
the
remove
standard
this
of behavior.
and add this back in. There we go.
Children today do not respect, nor do they adhere to that old saying of the past. Don't do as I do as I say. And they shouldn't. On the contrary, they should be able to expect and even demand behavior from adults that models and reflects the family values that we say that we are trying to instill in them.
Yep.
But when our children see bad behavior modeled by those who have charge over them, they will think that this is acceptable behavior, never adding in the circumstances that reciprocated that action. The children who might have access to Mrs. Lieber's actions last week will never stop to add in what got her to that point. They will just see what she did. And we're also here because it's not just that. We're also here to say that in the aftermath of this incident, it's truly a shame that the Charleston County School District Board Chairman, Keith Grabowski, and 6 of his Charleston County School District Board members, that their refusal to address this behavior, it actually exposes a problem in this board's decision-making process. That is that this board, comprised predominantly of Moms for Liberty-backed trustees, is once again displaying publicly an extremely troubling pattern of bias, hypocrisy, and a double standard when addressing how the actions of board members are addressed.
So that is the key difference between tonight's episode, where we typically talk about education and the destruction that Moms for Liberty is doing to our public education system. Tonight, we're taking a little bit of a different spin on this, and we're going to do the old, like you said, Pastor, right? Like, do as I say, not as I do, because actions matter. And the Moms for Liberty group of people that like to think that they're on the side of kids are actually acting against the best interests of kids, but they're setting bad examples for kids by their actions. It's not just the actions they take in schools, it's the action they take in their personal and private lives. Now, are we saying that everyone's private life, once you go public into a public sphere, that all of that matters? No. What we're saying is that you have to carry yourself with some sort of decorum. And if you're going to expect to consider yourself morally superior to the people you say are targeting the kids negatively, you better act as a superior moral agent. Pastor, what do you think about that?
Oh, I think you spot on, especially when I stop and you said, Pastor, what do you think about that? That title, Pastor, I carry that title, and I carry that title with respect, and I make sure that I model that, although as imperfect as I am, I model it to the best of my ability to others, so that when they see me, they can respect the fact that, okay, his title is pastor. Well, our elected officials, anyone in leadership in any community, parents, all should be modeling the right examples for children. And anytime that we give the children the impression that wrongdoing is okay, then we're way out of line and we need to get checked.
Right.
And this was to that press conference. And because unfortunately, our school board under a Moms for Liberty president and 4 other of their associates on that board have failed to check school board member Michelle Lieber, even as of today, 2 months later.
And we are going to go into what she did and what kind of spurred this. I do want to point out a couple of things. One, Moms for Liberty is very defeatable. And the reason I know that is because I live in Long Island and my school district voted in an extreme Moms for Liberty lunatic a couple of years ago. And when I say lunatic, this is the woman years ago I described at her first meeting as president. She ripped off her t-shirt like she was in the WWE and had another t-shirt underneath it that had an anti-union message on it.
Oh, wonderful.
As a board member.
As the board president.
As the president.
And 3 years later, she got shellacked, kicked out, goodbye. So there is some potential that these people and their extremism are already becoming unpopular. But now if we, and that's the focus of tonight's episode, show people who these really are, what they really act like.
Right, because like you said perfectly, Pastor Dixon, is that they have this do what I say, not what I do attitude. So they feel like they can be the most horrible people on the planet, but they want the rest of us to live by like a certain standard.
Their standard.
Right,
that
their
they
standard.
Set, but
they
don't have to live by.
Right.
And
so.
I wish I could say it was just confined to Moms for Liberty, but everybody who rides on that side of the, as they say, that side of the aisle, that side of the aisle is the red light district. Straight up. Straight up. And you got juice movies, you got X-rated magazines, you got everything that you want right on that side. They portray themselves as Christian, and because of that, they deceive a general public out here that really wants to believe that until they get busted and they give us all of this evidence that we've got now to not only overturn your area, but overturn them nationally. And not only under Moms for Liberty, but at our state house seats, congressionally, they're consistently being caught. And every time they do, we're going to shout them out. Pastor,
that experience with Mays in South Carolina was huge. For anybody tuning in that doesn't know, he was correct me if I'm wrong, representative in South Carolina, and was given an award as Legislator of the Year by Moms for Liberty at one of their yearly conferences. And he is, I don't know if he's in prison yet, but he will be soon, about child pornography.
He's just a right-wing comedian that I think it was featured on Joe Rogan.
That's about right.
Who also recently, it's always on the right.
Before we get into a little more description of this specific event, I just wish I remembered where I was going to go with that. So let's go into that. I really had something I was going to say, but that just
I'm
fell
supposed
out
to
of
be
my
the
head.
forgetful one.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
like, I think it's unfair for other Christians because, like, personally, my journey, I have been baptized. I got baptized in really like rough part of it was like a outskirts of Pittsburgh, and met these absolutely wonderful people. And like my journey, but I'm a deist now. Like I believe in God. I think probably watching a lot of these people, it really has turned me off to the concept of religion. And I think that's happening for a lot of people. They're trying to force it on everybody while being terrible people. They're not obviously living. I mean, they're praying to white Jesus. You know what I mean? They're not living by the teachings of Jesus Christ. I mean, for crying out loud. They're the complete antithesis of all of it.
That's where this all comes to. I remembered my point is it has to do with something that our guest on Sunday said, where he welcomed the challenge and the responsibility of being elected to public office. There has to be an acceptance that you hold yourself to the highest of standards you set for other people. If you're going to demand other people act in a way that you want them to, and in fact change laws to mandate they act according to your doctrine, you better as heck be the prime example. Notice, Liz, how I censored myself. You better be the prime example of your doctrine. And they're not. And I think what Pastor Dixon has experienced and what is fighting against, and this is a fight, is the hypocrisy of a group of people who want to tell everyone else how to live, but then live in, if I may use a religious parlance, sin. Because they're the ones acting in the way they're telling you the bad people, the other side is acting, but they're the ones indulging in it.
You've got one of the founders of Moms for Liberty, the national organization, who was in a bisexual relationship, and yet she goes in front of her audience in Sarasota and she defames and attacks and goes after the LGBTQ plus community on a regular basis, and yet she turned out to be part of it. So it's a lot of hypocrisy.
It's a lot
She got away with it until she got caught.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
that sounds
Seems to be a trend these days.
Anyway, so let's do a little bit of background, because the pastor mentioned a certain name in his speech, and I want to go over who this is. Do you want to kind of give a little play-by-play as we show the slides?
Well, a couple of these slides are just to show that, we know what we're talking about. We aren't just claiming that someone is Moms for Liberty. We look for the evidence that shows the connection. So this first slide is of a post by Moms for Liberty in Charleston that is so excited that this Michelle Lieber is running for school board and unfortunately did win for school board.
So while that's not a true endorsement, it's an endorsement as far as social media is concerned.
Correct.
Let's consider this part of it. That name there, Tara Wood.
Yep.
She was the founder and chair of Charleston's Moms for Liberty.
There you go. Okay. So it's the national chapter recognizing a local chapter founder, recognizing a member running for local school board. You don't get much more.
In a nonpartisan race.
Oh, in a nonpartisan race, yes.
Right. Let's add that in there.
And here yet again,
and
I
this
think
is her advertisement. Yep, this was a fundraiser, which again was allowed to be posted on Moms for Liberty Charleston. If you look at the top, and that means that it's officially pushed or endorsed
it is.
As running a similar organization. If I put something up on social media, that is my kind of tacit endorsement of whatever that piece of information is. So they posted about a fundraiser.
You know what's funny, Liz? There's legality to that, because just as people working in companies they can be subject to their company's rules about posting on social media, because if you are an employee of a company, technically, legally, you are considered an employee even off the clock.
And April Coleman is the vice chair.
Lovely. And that's the other person. We find that a lot too, is that they'll post things and then they answer themselves. I'll give an example.
Because it generates traffic. It helps the algorithm.
It does. And it makes it look like they have more supporters than they actually do. But
so
Pastor, kind of bring us up to speed on what's happening with this particular Moms for Liberty member in South Carolina.
Right. Well, so Michelle Lieber, whose husband just happens to be a member of the South Carolina State Legislature. He was elected a South Carolina senator last year in the previous term. Prior to that, he was in the House of Representatives. But Michelle Lieber, his wife, decided, I guess she was going to be to run for the school board, especially as we entered a race last year that was a big possibility of them losing a seat. So they ran hard in the district, and she won that seat. And that other member did lose that seat. So then they had five members on board. So they still retained that 5-member sway as far as voting block. Michelle Lieber is a piece of work.
Yeah.
I think that if she hadn't been up under the influence of her husband, then she might be a much better person. But her husband, he's a 3%er. Yeah.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know, do you want to describe, Pastor, what that is?
Yeah, so
please.
3%er. You can be a Proud Boy, or you can be an Oath Keeper, or you can be a 3%er, or you can be the KKK. Pick your spot, but it's all going to be about the same mission.
Pick your hate group.
Yeah, it's all about the same mission and message. Whatever militia you want to be a part of. So that's her husband, and without getting too much into detail, we have the history of his of the domestic violence within that household and everything. I don't want to really get all into that and carrying on, but we got the receipts. For it.
I got pictures pulled up.
If we're tracking behavior,
yes, especially we're talking about family values now and traditional values. This is like R.J. May. This is another traditional values person. Moms for Liberty loves them. But Michelle was elected to that seat. Of course, she claims that, I'm not Moms for Liberty and I'm not influenced by Moms for Liberty. But the reality is that everything that she does has this same slant, this same bias as Moms for Liberty does, as our South Carolina Republican Party does, as our National Republican Party does, under the leadership of that guy that sits in the White House. It's all the same. They're all MAGA. They vote MAGA. They stick together. They don't vote outside. Nobody bucks the system whatsoever. They're comfortable and they're good with supporting wrongdoing in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, right. That's the worst part. That's the worst part.
Wow. So
Jesus
what is Michelle up to?
Yeah, because I got pictures I want to show.
What's the
I got them ready.
Michelle is trying to further the agenda of Moms for Liberty within the Charleston County School District. That agenda, again, started with that first set of 5, and now it's continuing on with that 5. Hopefully, this coming 2026 election season, we will be able to upset their apple cart. Based on all of this foolishness that's out here, all of the evidence, all of the receipts we've got of the craziness that continues to plague our system. Total chaos. Since they've gone in, it's been total chaos. But it's the cover up though for what they're actually doing. And as long as they can keep people distracted, they can keep on creating this system that they're trying to put in place. You know what's really distressing is that we found out. Well, I'm gonna say I found out, tracing back some of them to the church origin, that there's actually a specific church here in North Charleston, North Palm Church, under the leadership of Patricia Estes and her husband. And I don't mind sharing the names because they know it. They had
it's public.
I was in Washington, D.C., and I was the subject of their press conference. What can I say? But I found out that they were actually farming these Moms for Liberty candidates, grooming them through North Palm Church to run for office. I got the receipts.
Almost.
I got the receipts.
And do they have a 501c4 or a 501c3?
I'm sure they have a C3, but I'm uncertain about the.
If they have a C3, then they need to be reported to the IRS because that would be illegal activity. They are not allowed to do politics.
Unfortunately,
the 4 is what gives them the right to do that. Yeah.
I'm worried this current administration wouldn't do anything about it.
Right. I was going to say, unfortunately, prior to 2016, that might have been it. But as of 2016 on, the rules changed.
Yeah.
Although not written rules, but the application of those rules changed.
Yeah.
And we have pastors all across the nation that are promoting candidates from their pulpit, telling their people who to vote for, when to vote for, why they should vote for them.
There is no separation of church and state anymore.
Well, it's really important, though, to collect documentation of that and to file complaints so you have that paper trail.
Absolutely.
So with this particular leader of Moms for Liberty, she was not the chapter chair. She was just associated, and we gave pieces of those evidentiary pieces at the beginning here. She has some personal things that she's posted online. Can you tell us a little bit about, why this is such a bad example for children and what she has done?
Right. How we got to this point. Is that it?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So she is an elected board member with our Charleston County School District. Okay. And as such, just as in any other leadership role, there's a certain decorum that's expected in that role. As a matter of fact, according to actual state law, it defines what that decorum is. But something happened in Mrs. Lieber's life with her husband the 1st of August. And she actually caught him on a trip with his mistress, or cheating with his mistress, or concubine. I don't know what you want to call her. I don't know what you want to call her, but but Mrs. Lieber found out about it. And,
yeah, she did.
And I have sympathy for that part. Nobody should find that out, right?
I will
However,
how you handle that situation that speaks about who you are and what your values are.
Right.
Exactly. Right. I will never, go in on her about the situation, but it's the way that she handled that situation that caused the problem that brought us to the place where we are even right now. The way that after finding out this about her husband, instead of her handling it, at least in some type of professional way, she did like our kids do. She went to social media. She took it to Facebook.
Yep.
And she not only took it to Facebook in a respectful manner, she took it there with lewd pictures and name calling and everything. Now, this is Charleston County School Board official who has charge over our children.
Yeah.
And also, let's be honest. It is political, because if you are running for school board, you are a public official. And you are supposed to lead by example. And the biggest one of all, if any one of their opponents acted like this, they would use it for the exact same cannon fodder we're using it for.
Here, I'll pull it up.
Because we like to hold people to standards.
You have some examples of things that she posted?
Also, before we get right there, I would like to thank Kathy H. for the super sticker. Much appreciated.
Nice, Kathy. Wow. His whore, Rebecca. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty, all right, this is stuff you would expect from, I'm going to say, early 2000s teenagers, before anyone really realized what goes on the internet is there forever. This is child bickering. You stole my boyfriend. I get that you are finding your husband in the most awful situation a wife can find them in. But like the pastor said, it's how you respond. It's how you act. You have to act with some decorum. You are a public figure.
Go back to that first one, and for your viewers, they can each enlarge their screens so they can see. This is kind of what really drew my attention to this particular instance.
What is that anime drawing?
There are things across the country. I have no idea what the last two things are. If those are things that her husband had at home. Do you know, Pastor? Those last two things?
All I know is it was on her social media page.
I don't know.
Her name
but
right at the top of there.
My objection was the picture on the left. Although it is clothed, it is
obviously
very indicative of an inappropriate approach to something.
I mean, he's not posing with his golden retriever. So
no, and it was meant to shame her husband, which, hey, I think he actually, deserves some shame.
Hey, if you cheat, you deserve to be shamed publicly.
That photo,
I agree with
that photo is a step too far. And like
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
a
I don't
little much.
understand the other two.
You don't descend to the level of juveniles in order to do this. This is a
it is
Facebook beef. They
right.
beef.
It's borderline revenge porn. Like if this
It
guy was
is.
unclothed, it would actually be
How
considered
about this?
revenge
Wait.
porn.
If a man posted a picture of a woman, and you have to think of it this way, context matters. If a man posts a picture of a woman, his wife in a bikini, there's nothing wrong with that. If he posts this horrible cheating blankety blank and then posts a picture of her in a bikini, that is posting in a negative intent. That becomes revenge porn. It's literally not that complicated.
Sorry, I keep zooming in on his crotch.
So, what were the quotes? No, he's had enough exposure.
Yeah, no more. So, this one is another one.
Oh,
yeah.
Alan,
so
I don't want to know why you picked that out.
Right? Text messages between the husband and the other woman. And this school board member posted that online in this public forum.
That is
crazy.
That's
anybody had access to what she posted that day.
Wow.
Of course.
Now, and something that I guess that she doesn't know enough about social media, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, is that when you post something, first off, your friends see that, and then their friends see that,
and then their friends.
And among those friends and those friends, some of their children have access to these accounts. So this pseudo porn or whatever that she's got, it has the potential actually to meet that younger generation, the ones whose books she's trying to ban for pornography.
Right.
She's the supplier.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's more.
Yep.
It just goes to show you the level of the hypocrisy, because when it comes down to it, she would say, well, I was distraught and I posted this. But at the same time, again, if you're in leadership position, you're supposed to be able to show a restraint that people are supposed to model their behavior off of. If at the moment that you choose to act poorly, you missed your chance. That's literally that moment.
She's got a screw loose. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't say
like
that.
Her
but this
forgiving
post,
him online?
that's what I mean. Like this top post has me.
But
confused.
then the bottom one contradicts it.
Right.
This will be your. I don't know. That seems pretty unhinged. That almost looks like the party wanted her to smooth things over a little bit for her husband.
Yeah, they probably did call her, and they're probably like, "Hey, look, you can't be doing that stuff."
And think about it. You know what? The best part about that is the only reason they're doing it, again, not because they care about their members. It's because they might lose that talent in the in the school board.
Yeah,
that's what they're afraid of.
Pastor Dixon, what was this letter that you put together here?
That he sent to. That was about your press conference, wasn't it, Pastor?
That was the press release in response to her behavior that day. Just to make it public, where I stand as the chairman of the Charleston County Democrats. And the bottom line is on all of that. If I, as Pastor Dixon, and somebody that's well known in this area as an advocate for people, and Pastor Dixon, if I did anything of that like that,
oh my God. Oh.
I like this last line that you have here.
They would get the pitchforks out.
Yeah, and the last line is, I just read it real quick. In reality, if voters would have seen through the Republicans' holier now hypocritical facade last year, maybe we wouldn't have this conversation today.
Wow.
That is so true.
Yeah,
you should have added a line, mic drop.
Right.
And every case like this, I think, okay, so what if when I was a classroom teacher, I did that behavior?
Right.
So I can tell you right now, if I had posted the words, the pictures, the attacks that she had online, they would have come after my job.
You would have been fired.
Educator.
Oh yeah.
So she's sitting in a seat, a paid position, right? South Carolina's paid as well, like Florida. Probably not like Florida. Florida is ridiculously paid, but you're absolutely right. Talk about moving away from decorum and basic decency.
Yeah.
And you are correct. When you put something on the internet, it is public information.
That's it.
There is no private group. There is no
assumption
private
of privacy.
post.
Right.
It's not just to your friends to read. And it's time that people start understanding that. And I think that actually we're going to have some people sued in the long run.
Yeah.
Maybe not in this particular case. I'm not as involved, but When you put something online, it is public document.
Yep.
Sure.
Bewildered Bunny gifted 5
Thank
VOR
you so much
podcast
for the gift of
memberships. Thank you
memberships.
so much.
Appreciate it. You guys are amazing. I love our audience.
I just think the thing that this just continues to highlight the fundamental difference between, it's hard to define it, what we call it, because we don't want to offend people of faith that are acting, no pun intended, in good faith. Okay? There's this American evangelical Christian nationalist thing that you're seeing matriculate down into smaller congregations. And one thing that I've seen a lot of reporting on, Pastor, let me know, I want your opinion on this, but I would love to know if you've seen this. There is this push by a lot of churches and a lot of people doing the preaching that are saying the Jesus that the left wants, the Jesus of the forgiveness of all that, he's an extreme woke hippie, and that's not the Jesus we believe in. Well, then what the heck are they doing?
Well, for a very, very long time, for centuries, people have created the God that they wanted to have in order to justify their own behaviors.
Thank you.
So that way you can always say, well, God told me to do this. We've had cult situations, Jim Jones, David Koresh, all of these, they were religious leaders. So they created their own God system in order to justify their behaviors. And of course, there was a sexual undertone in all of them.
Yeah, a lot of it.
We have a religion that believes in aliens and stuff. Like serious Scientology is what they believe in. There's gonna be some alien ship.
That might be better than some of the Christian nationalism.
Honestly, Scientologists bother me less. To me, it's like a religious extremism, but cloaked in Christianity.
At least they don't. I don't think that they tack that Christian word in front of there.
Yeah, that's true.
Scientologists.
Yeah, correct.
Not Christian Scientologists.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think it used to be. I think it used to be
Did it really?
Christian Scientology.
You know what's funny though, Pastor? I don't know why, if this makes any sense. It's almost like it's a religious version of stolen valor. If we just put the name of Jesus in front of anything we do, you don't get to criticize us.
That's right. That's right. We can do anything that we want to do. Because we've got God on our side,
right? And then when we say anything about how they're handling their Christianity,
my religion,
then we are the ones attacking Christianity. We're trying to tell them, like, look, you're not.
So that's interesting.
You're not Christians. You're not. You can say it all you want, and you can say I'm a good Christian, but people like Christian nationalists feel like they could be shitty. Excuse my language, but they can be shitty people all week long. And then they could go to school, or it's not school, but they go to church on Sunday, ask for forgiveness, and all is well. That's why we have the problem we have today. I mean, we have Donald Trump, who, I don't want to bring this up, obviously, but, has been involved in some things of late, some revelations that have come out. And then he's on the internet talking about God and religion, and like, it's so...
the same thing.
Horrifying to watch.
And look, Liz knows this. I have no ill will towards religious people. I have some problems with some organizations that tend to do weird things, but these are the people that are claiming to be the most religious.
Right.
Yet they're the people creating a cult of personality. They're the ones that chose the golden calf and are going every step of the way to elevate that idol above all other teachings that they are trying to then use to dictate the rest of our behavior. They're the ones that'll say LGBTQ is a religion or atheism is a religion or whatever. All these people are starting their own religions, but they're really starting their own religion.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the Christianity that I was born and brought up and
you've said that many times.
They
called environmentalism in Project 2025. They called it a pseudo
Green New Deal is a religion.
They think environmentalism is like a new religious movement of some kind. It's weird.
It's because they find it real convenient to taint anything that's outside of what they believe as a false religion, and their people buy that. That people buy into that.
They're anti-science, though. It's weird.
Yeah, well,
And
what they are, what they actually are is they're a political organization bent on domination,
Yep.
using
Yes.
the name of Jesus
Thank you.
as a crutch,
Exactly right.
to justify their behavior. That's all. Because the underlying Christian nationalism is what's called a seven mountain mandate.
Oh
Yes, sir.
God,
And
Yeah, we talked about it. We've talked about it.
that means that you actually have to
It's all
dominate
spelled out.
whatever societal area that you're in. We dominate it. We give them the moral value that we expect, and that way, once we do that, we can operate with immunity.
Right.
In any kind of way, we can do anything that we want to, which is the same way cults operate. Doe and the Heaven's Gate group, the name, the list goes on.
That's the name of them. That's the name
Heaven's
of them.
Gate.
Those are the ones that they literally castrated themselves.
Yeah.
And then they all took poison. They all were. Yeah, watch the documentary on the Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate is an interesting one.
But see, like the only problem I have with religion, and this is me personally, to me, it seems like religion can be a way. Well, they're using it as a means of oppression because they don't want society to progress because the Bible told them that we can't.
Well, I think
You know
they
what I mean?
think they need to hold on to some fantasized version of a religious book that they vaguely understand, and they're missing the point.
That's
Again, I am not
yeah.
a religious person, but if you were going to use religious parables to teach about morality, and you're going to do that, and the end result that you're looking for is a socially capable person that is well adjusted to the feelings of other people, yes, I'm all for it. If you're going to use it as a way to destroy other people, go pound salt.
Mhm.
Right.
But they're so effective in what they do.
Yes,
That
they are.
with their base, they convince their base that everything that they're doing, right or wrong, is right. But then they have people that are outside of their realm who don't follow behind them, now believing that the Christians are the problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When
It
the
circled
reality-
back around.
Yeah, yeah.
They're giving They are giving good Christians a bad name. Is what they're doing.
So when
Well, to
when-
that, I will
unless you
say
Yeah.
that anyone that actually, I don't even know how to say this, but anyone that professes to be a Christian cannot possibly support the way that Christianity is being used
It is
to
impossible.
harm others.
You
I
can't
would
call
say
yourself
that
a Christian. if
True
you
of any
support
of the
this.
major,
I'm sorry, you
well,
can't.
not major, I don't like that word, but any of the standard three, we'll call it. If you talk to most believers or faithful or adherents to it,
Hmm.
they tend to take from it not the control, but the comfort. And it looks like when you're looking for a way to control people, you use a structure in a way to do that. But that
Right.
structure could also be there as a support structure. It depends on the will of those who are using it.
Well, this is what Trump used to
Yep.
become successful, right? He has the
What's your favorite Bible
Christian
verse?
right.
Oh, I can't.
He
all
doesn't
of them.
know.
All of
All of them. All of them.
Yeah. He doesn't
Right.
know.
the upside down Bible,
Now,
right?
Yeah, God.
upside
Yeah.
down and
Backwards,
I'm
inside
pretty
out.
sure he's broken every possible sin there is to break.
Yeah.
And the
Absolutely.
fact
If the
that
rumors are true, then definitely.
folks that seemed rational before, that seemed like Christians before, I don't know what they are thinking. Because how can he be the second coming? How can he be the golden idol?
Well,
They
he
treat
could
him
very
like a
easily
god.
be-
They
he could
treat
very
him like a
easily
They
God.
be
put him on the
temptation.
cross, for crying out loud.
He could be temptation disguised, can he not? Since
Yeah.
everyone
Well, let me-
loves him so much.
I have a question for Pastor Dixon.
Okay.
Because it seems like maybe this is just a problem with humanity in general. But it seems like since the beginning of time, or since the beginning of religion, I guess, there's always been a part of the population that has weaponized it. How do we, I guess, I don't like using this term, but deprogram people, especially that grow up in households like this? You know what I mean? Think of kids. Like I showed you guys a video of that kid earlier. That kid grows up in a straight, white Christian household where trans people are evil.
I don't think
You
you
know-
showed it yet, did you?
Oh,
I didn't
no.
show it to the audience yet.
Why don't you show it first and then?
Right. This is a perfect example of what I mean. This kid is programmed. He is groomed from birth by his own parents. These are very extreme beliefs for a child to have. These were not something that he came up with on his own. I refuse to believe that.
Honestly,
Just
trust me.
I showed this yesterday or the day before, but it's worth watching again.
Hi, I'm Shane Cias. I've been a Christian my whole life, and Jesus means everything to me. When I was in 5th grade, my school forced me to teach my kindergarten buddy about changing his gender using a book called My Shadow is Pink. The book said you can choose your gender based on feelings instead of how God made us. I knew this was not right, but I was afraid of getting in trouble. After my family spoke up, the school treated us badly, and kids started bullying me and my brother because of our faith. And the school did nothing to stop it. It hurt a lot, but I kept trusting God. I believe kids like me should be able to live our faith at school without being forced to go against what we believe. I hope no other family has to go through what mine did. Thank you.
What I have a question of is how come when a little kid stands there with his 2 moms and goes, I'm proud to have 2 moms and I know that they love me, that kid is being coached and is indoctrinated, but this kid isn't. Pastor, how do we fix this? Or I know that's a big question without any
big
direction.
question, yeah.
But
Before Pastor starts, I just want to say that I would bet probably my life savings that is not a true story.
Right, I would as well.
Oh, there's no way that's a true story.
No
None
way.
of that's true.
No way.
That's kind of deep.
From maybe not how do you fix it, but what are the steps we need to take to remind people that religion is supposed to be there for comfort, not control?
Inspiration, right?
Inspiration.
So I got a couple of takes on that. First off, with the kid, okay, at 12 years old, for him to stand up and say, I've been a Christian my whole life.
I know,
Yeah,
12 years, huh?
12 years old. He hadn't even had a life yet.
Those first few.
And they're standing behind him like, yep.
While
tell
in
him-
front of Donald Trump, the biggest
Yeah.
sinner on the
You tell him, yeah. I hope he don't bend over. Pastor said it. Y'all forgive me.
that was totally worth it.
That was
was even funnier coming from you.
A moment of weakness.
But
You're forgiven.
The question is,
Yeah,
how
you're
do
forgiven. There you go.
we fix it? I think that we spend a lot of time trying to fix those that are hopelessly lost, as opposed to inspiring and motivating and activating those who have not gone to the dark side yet. We have a lot of people who don't agree with that at all, who carry the name of Christian and who don't.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of them getting up and getting involved, instead of them getting out from behind their keyboards and these Facebook warriors and carrying on and getting involved with their schools, with the school boards and school districts, in the political realm, getting involved wherever they can, they just sit it out. And that's not, as a Christian, that's not the example that I follow.
Mm-hmm.
When I say I'm a Christian, Christian, first the root word Christ, Christian, sort of like Martian, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But that means that my life in some way should emulate that person whose name I'm carrying.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus was a revolutionary. He did not bow down or step back or not speak up about things. He confronted the situation. And he a lot of times we got people that say, they tell me you shouldn't be that loud. You shouldn't say those things about people and whatever. Is it the truth? And if you say it's the truth, I'm gonna say it. You know, because it needs to be said. If it's wrong and we calling out wrong, then we should do it.
You know, it's funny. I know.
Activating other Christians to get to that level is the most difficult thing I have to do. But the other side of that coin is, if they slip over to the dark side, they are willing participants.
Is
that is
there a
true.
way to bridge the gap from an interfaith perspective? I mean, we're more fractured from a political perspective than any time since the Civil War, if not more, but we're also fractured religiously. Again, I consider non-religious people part of that group. And the unfortunate problem here is that these American evangelical lunatics are I'll say, giving more fodder to, let's say, non-religious people, but they're also, everyone's alienating Jewish populations. The Muslim population is already on the outs.
Oh my God.
Is there a push within the faith community as a whole to try and let people know that real religion doesn't want to be a part of the control, and we're not trying to ask for you to follow us, but we're here to help lead this more peaceful agrarian view, because we need something to galvanize, like you said, the unmotivated, the people who are sitting it out, not even just from your perspective to other Christians. How do we what message can we send to everyone to say, okay, you sat out long enough, now we have to stand up for what's right, and then the religious community can set an example.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't wait on the religious community to step up and lead the way, no matter what denomination it is. It's the big three or any others. They're not going to do it. Maybe they will get on board at some point. And we saw this back in the 50s and 60s when Dr. King was in Birmingham and he got locked up, and they smuggled him the newspaper, and it had the pastors in there complaining about him being there.
Yep.
Causing trouble. He wrote one of the greatest letters, a letter from Birmingham jail.
Yes.
That's one of the most motivating letters of all times about social justice and getting involved.
It is a powerful piece of writing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Now, what we don't know is of those pastors that had all this issue with him, how many of them came alongside? We don't know that. We don't know that. Maybe none. Maybe they were very comfortable in their position because maybe they didn't have to feel the pressures that the Black community felt.
Well, that's complacency and apathy, and that's why something Jeremy and I say all the time is white straight men got us into this. White straight men have to be the loudest because we're the ones that screwed everything up, to be fair. And I'm not being one of those white guy haters, man haters. Look at history. White dudes, we don't have the best track record.
We're awful.
We don't really have the best track record.
No, we're terrible. Like, I just want to...
Can't live with them, can't live without them.
I want to say this about religion. Like, I don't consider myself... Right? Like, I
know, right?
While I don't consider myself a Christian, Christianity does play a huge part of my story. Like when I was down and out and probably one of the worst places in my life, I was damn near homeless. I was living in a halfway house. I ended up in an all-black church in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. It's like north of Pittsburgh. I was the only white person there, and I had never felt more welcomed or more inspired. And it was one of the reasons why I ended up getting baptized. Like I went down that road, and my conclusion was that it's just religion's not for me, but I still have faith and I still believe in God. You know what I mean? Like you can believe in God, but not be told how to believe in Him. Like faith and hope are so important, especially in this day and age. And it was my experience. Like I grew up in the military, so I grew up around all kinds of different cultures. I've been to different countries, and I think it's a lot of reasons why I am the way I am today. But at the same time, I think about the extreme opposite. There are families that are very white Christian nationalists, and that's what they're teaching their children. They're teaching their bubble. Hate people of color, hate other religions. If they're not white, straight Christians, hate them.
That's why they want to destroy the school.
So wrong. Like I know atheists that are more Christians than you know what I'm saying. Like I know people that don't believe in God and don't believe in religion.
I've read far more in the Bible
live more Christian lives than actual MAGA Christians. Like it is amazing what they've done to this.
We just have to look to the basic understanding of humanity.
Yes.
To treat others the way we want to be treated.
Thank you.
And that concept right there will take us beyond MAGA. It would put Trump out the White House. It would fix the Supreme Court. It would fix our employment situation out here in the world. It would fix our educational system if we simply did the golden rule. Do unto others as we would have them do unto us.
And one against so be a hypocrite.
But here's the thing, though. If you treat people like shit, do unto others as you would have done unto you. So, again, like my Facebook page is probably one of the most toxic places on earth because I use it to really try and trigger these people.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Liz, we were
You
talking
do.
about this earlier because I want them to feel shame. I want them that your behavior is so bad that I feel bad for saying this because I kind of sound malicious when I say it, but I want them to feel shame. They should. They should feel shame for this behavior. This is not behavior that should be normalized in any way, shape, or form in 2025 society.
That goes along with what the pastor said about don't worry about the ones that are already complicit, already on the dark side, already say they're just following orders.
Too far gone.
But there's an extension on this love thing beyond just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that extension on it has to do with the impact of wrongdoing that it has on other people.
They have to know.
If we truly care, then we will stop and say, I got to speak up for them. I got to be their voice. If I won't be their own voice, I'm going to be a voice for them. I will stand up. I will represent. I will fight. I will run for office. I will do whatever it takes in order to help the downtrodden to be represented. And that's an aspect of love right there.
And they like to punch down too. They like, some people can't help themselves.
I think that's a huge part of it is like the fierce separation that these people feel. Like they're so in their own bubble with their own communities, but outside of their identical mirrored community, they have no compassion for anyone else. And our side almost, we get blamed for being bleeding heart liberals because we care about people.
Right. Why is that a bad thing?
Complicated.
Why is
You're
that
supposed
a bad
to
thing?
care about each other, and if you only care about the people that look, sound, smell, and act like you, what does that really say about you? That fundamentally says more about you than it does about what you believe of anyone else. And then to Jeremy's point about being in the military, I always say my parents took me to the city, New York City, all the time, and I got exposed to so many different cultures that way. They want to destroy education because that would prevent their kids from being exposed to other things. And the more control you have is directly correlated to as little as your people that you want to control know.
PragerU is a perfect example. We talked about that last time you were on here, Liz. I mean, that is just straight up propaganda. Telling people that, slavery wasn't that bad because it was okay during those times. It's like, oh my God. And they're using, you guys can probably verify. I've talked to people on the street in D.C. from Florida and from the South that said PragerU is being used in schools.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's about 7 states have actually adopted it.
Seriously, if you live in a red state right now, please, for the love of God, if you care about your child's education, you need to find out immediately if your child's being force-fed PragerU propaganda. That website is horrific.
We have a copy of an opt-out letter that people can use so that their child is opted out of PragerU materials in school.
That's awesome.
But the fact that that's what they're going to be force-feeding our kids is unbelievable.
Pastor, I would love for... go ahead.
It's unacceptable.
Well, I was just going to read a couple of comments to kind of summarize this whole discussion about religion and faith. Bewildered Bunny, I believe in a higher power and loving everyone. I don't believe in organized religion.
Right.
And then
You're
further
a deist
down,
as well. You are a deist as well.
I love this one as well from Lost Again. Faith is like the Force. There is no dark or light side. There is only how you use it in your life.
True.
That makes it dark or light.
I love the Star Wars reference. Thank you so much.
Pretty interesting followers you have here. That
we love our community.
We have an amazing
such expertise. That sums it up. And that's the difference that we need to see is that the faith community needs to stand on faith, not on their religions. And like anything else, it's a business. And I don't know about our present company here, Pastor Dixon, but pastors have an obligation to run a business.
Sure.
And so a lot of their decisions are to make sure that their church is well funded and that it continues to exist.
You could do that, catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
And absolutely what we have to push back on based on this religious approach is that fundamental golden rule, as Yvonne put in the comments. And if it's not following the golden rule, then it's truly not a place of love, faith, and really of God's word. If you want to call it out, That's what it is.
I might refer to that as humanism, but what it comes down to is don't be an ass.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Just that
Don't
simple.
don't be dumb. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be an ass.
Pastor,
That's
I
it.
would love for you to just say some final words on what you think, how important
Please.
behavior and modeling and what we can do moving forward. I like to,
Mhm.
Jeremy and I know Liz knows who I'm talking about. Gen Alpha, we feel is going to save us. How do we hand over what we got ourselves in to a younger generation and let them know that it's okay to care about each other? And that's our only way forward.
Well, I love the direction that this is taken, for sure. But for me, as Pastor Dixon, I carry a title. I serve as an associate pastor of a small micro church over in Mount Pleasant. It's family oriented, a church that my wife and I got with 7 years ago in the aftermath of tragedy. They had a tragedy that befell their church. And I went to the vigil for the son who was killed at that time. I didn't know them, but I showed up and they were like, wow, nice guy. You should meet the pastor. So now here it is. The pastor was actually in the same incident, shot 5 times and survived.
Oh my God.
And my wife and I have been with them now for the last 7 years. But I say that because I'm not normally attached. I haven't normally been attached to a church, to an actual building type church thing. I started a small congregation when I came out of prison. Yeah, pastor came out of prison in 2001. And I started we had a small congregation then. But my ministry as a pastor, that word pastor, all it means is shepherd. Yep. My ministry is in the street. My ministry is making sure that the sheep are being taken care of. I don't care whether it's about health care, education, trying to keep them safe from gun violence, making sure they're getting paid a decent wage or want to speak for their own rights on their job. No matter whether it's for LGBTQ people, A+, it doesn't make any difference to me. Seniors, veterans, or whatever. As the shepherd of the sheep, my job is to protect the sheep as a pastor.
Here's
so
a great
those pastors. There are those pastors who have their church thing and they have to, manage the monies and all of that. Me, I don't get paid for what I do. I don't look for any pay for what I do. I know that as a good shepherd, as I hope that I am, that I will have a reward that man cannot pay me for. Yeah. And it's going to happen. So I continue to grind out here on the streets the way that I do. I mean, this coming Sunday, I'll be 73 years old, and I'm going to keep on trucking until the Lord just takes me on home. And he says, that's it. I know my job is done. That day, I will know, okay, job finished.
No, I don't know.
Gold watch.
I guarantee I don't know as much about the Bible as you, but I think it's fair to say that like Jesus, his church was the streets.
Yep.
Jesus never wanted you to be in a building with beautiful windows and these massive marble statues and all that. Like that was never the intent.
Look, I can tell you right now, there's a parallel right here, and I do not often make religious parallels when it comes to America, but I'll tell you one thing. American democracy was born in the streets too. Maybe there is something to be said for joining forces with people you might not always agree with.
Very true. All
right.
Well, a lot of my team, a lot of the folks you see me with, even in the video that you showed from the press conference, the young lady to my right, she's an atheist. She's an atheist. The others, they're very, right? I don't discriminate.
Right.
I can tell you honestly, as someone who has been their whole life skeptical of everything to do with religion, it is deeply refreshing to know that someone who does have faith can still see the world the exact same way I do. And that brings me hope.
Much love. Yeah. Much love.
Pastor, how can people follow you or contact you? We even have people that say they would love to meet you, but I know that you go live often on Facebook. So how can they get more of Pastor Dixon?
The first thing is what they say, holla at your boy. But the best way to follow what's going on with me is through Facebook. I'm most comfortable there. I don't like no IG like that. And all the rest. I don't even know how I learned Facebook. Again, I'll be 73 next Sunday. But
you're doing fine.
I've been blessed, and that's where the following is, to know what's going on I always try to make sure that the public knows what's happening in
Yeah.
the area and even statewide or whatever, periodically you find me. I try to go live, like if I'm in DC. I'm in DC 3 times a year because I sit on the board of trustees of Brady United Against Gun Violence. I'm on the national board of trustees. So I'm up there 3 times a year, and I try to, make sure I go on live. Plus, a lot of what I have to do is actually presenting a family presentation. So I show my wife a lot. She keeps telling me to stop, but our relationship, having been together now for almost 48 years and married for 43 this year.
Amazing.
And I don't know what's wrong with her. She must be crazy.
What I say about my wife.
Put up with me all that time. I don't know. But trying to present those images right along with putting the truth out through social media, because folks know they're gonna get the truth right along with them nice and some sweet tea, and you're gonna get some lemons in there. But
I just love on our Pastor Dixon here. He's a member of Stop Moms for Liberty South Carolina chapter as well. And I just think that he exemplifies. You got your shirt on? I think he exemplifies boots on the ground effort. And, I wish you the best in moving forward to get some kind of consequence for what is one of the many bad behaviors across the country. And it's done publicly, which are, all of the things. I'll wrap up tonight with, this is not an isolated incident in South Carolina. This is a pattern of who Moms for Liberty supports, who Moms for Liberty puts in positions of power within their organization. And we may have other shows about this, but I'll just share a couple of examples so you know that this is in lots of different places in the country. Out in California, in, I can't remember which county, but it's Beth Bourne is one of the Moms for Liberty leaders there. And I want folks to look her up. She is the person that was filmed in a Hawaiian hotel that was degrading on folks that were there for a drag show. And but she also is the person that actually goes up to children and asks them about, do you want to have your body parts removed? And she's just on this kick. Yeah, she's one of the worst examples. She's obsessed.
Terrorizing children.
Her child, I believe, is either transgender or bisexual, maybe, but there's some kind of lack of acceptance of that. And I think that's probably what drives her, right?
Probably.
So then that's out in California. In Florida, county next to me, this woman who has been my harasser for years was personally responsible for the loss of over 300 plus school books for children.
Wonderful.
And this woman has claimed to be a nurse, has come out in public and said, don't wear masks. I'm a nurse. You need to listen to me. Don't get vaccinated. I'm a nurse. Well, there's a group in the area that has thoroughly investigated her. She's not a nurse.
These people are awful. They're just plain awful.
Have been filed against her. Her name is Jennifer Pippin. So then we go up to Maryland, and there's one of the most outspoken Moms for Liberty chapter chairs there. Her name is Kit Hart. Kit Hart in Maryland has actually tried to get a teacher fired. Has gone online, has done all of this kind of, oh, yay me, I'm going to get that person fired. Well, the person is not fired. A person left one position, went to another. And this lady, oh boy.
Are you talking about Alexa?
Yes. Yeah, okay. That's the teacher. And I think we had one of the episodes with her on
the
podcast. Yeah. So her great harasser is this person, Kit Hart, which is the chapter chair. Yeah. Kit Hart runs a big piece of the national movement as well. I'm not sure exactly what position, but she's one of their favored people across this. And then we, have people across the country. There's one in Georgia that was a chapter chair who physically laid hands on a child and tried to get this child. I don't know what she was even trying to do, but she put her hands on a child. That's the name of the Fruit Loops page that exposed Jennifer Pippin in Florida. And I think there's going to be other efforts across the country to start exposing these people.
Oh, yeah.
So in Georgia, this leader, Julie Mock, I think is her name, but don't quote me on that one. She went to a pride event and she put her hands on a child.
Ew.
Not her child. She put her hands on a child and was trying to pull the child away from a flag.
Oh.
The kid was trying to defend a pride flag or something. I'm not
Good
sure
for
all the
that kid.
details. But there is video of her. So that's one of our
She's lucky
goals.
she didn't get assaulted by the parents.
I know, right?
I'm putting hands
That's
on
one of the
people's
goals
kids,
of
man.
Stop Moms for Liberty, and why we really hope to continue to expose some pretty horrific behavior by those folks that say that they are, out to save the children,
They're
that they
not.
are the holier
Yeah.
than thou people.
They're
And
not.
yet we have example after example after example that they are not the good guys.
No.
Right.
So in South Carolina, I think there's a good fight back, and Pastor is leading the way, and
Nice.
they're great members of our group in South Carolina. They're not going to give up. They are not going to give up on destruction that is being done by Moms for Liberty and its members and by those that are supported. I'll cover the whole basis, right?
Nice.
As you said, in her election, she's claimed not to be connected to Moms for Liberty. They got smart. In the 22 election is when they seated almost 300 school board members across the country. And since then, their trajectory has been straight down on the number of successful seats that they have taken across the country. And it's going to take efforts like Pastors in Charleston, South Carolina, to look at the makeup of your school board, to realize if there is a majority, and if there is a majority, do everything in your power to break up that majority and get some balance back onto your school boards. Mine is now 5-0, gone down this rabbit hole of Moms for Liberty beliefs.
Good Lord.
And we just have to keep plugging.
I feel bad for these kids.
And change these seats. Yeah.
There's going to be such a big part of our population that is going to be...
Once it collapses from the top, it'll all crumble.
There's part of our country that's teaching that slavery taught people useful skills. Like, there's going to be... I mean, we say it, it's okay to say now, but we have a very dumb part of our population, and this is not helping. But it's by design. It's by design. They have religiously tried to defund education for the last, decades now.
But the thought leaders of the next evolution need to make sure that they're addressing that issue with those children right now that are in that hole, because they're going to come out of that hole, and they're going to need somebody thinking progressively enough to say, we need to really be talking to these kids to get them straight so that their minds get right.
Perfect.
And in the comments, Brenna 1214 says, is Moms for Liberty in Michigan? Yes, we are. We have a chapter in Michigan. But I wanted to go back on something that she posted quite early in the comments. And that was about the loss of IEPs for students.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Imagine what a group as large and influential as Moms for Liberty could do if they actually tried to support children like this person that might be losing an IEP.
Yep.
These are the kind of things that mean protect the children. It's not from the silly things that they seem to think are harmful. It's from the actual day-to-day parts like child abuse and sexual abuse and, loss of rights within the schools and loss of services. Right now, schools are hurting and they need to have folks on the right side of history. Yeah. And again, that's not Moms for Liberty.
That's a good point. If they put as much effort into education and proper education as they do trying to figure out what's in a kid's pants, or if they're having whatever, you know what I mean? It's just
the culture
we would
wars.
be a much better place. The culture war is destroying this country.
It doesn't fit their agenda.
And
it
doesn't fit their agenda. And ultimately, it also leads to privatization.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Which will lead a whole group of kids, back down that rabbit hole to nowhere.
So thank you guys all for coming on the show. Pastor Dixon, it was wonderful meeting you. I'd love to have you on again in the future. Updates and everything like that.
There's a few comments about where are chapters and stuff like that. Can you guys pretty easily scroll the Stop Moms for Liberty address?
Oh, it's in our it's on our channel page. You can
so on the channel page is our website.
Yep.
Okay, and then on the website,
day one almost. If you want to
there it goes. And if anyone's interested, yes, we're trying to get people communicating, and that's what these podcasts are meant to do,
Yep.
is to share information, give examples like Pastor has provided beautifully tonight, that something needs to change, and this can't become the norm, because it's not who we are. When you said common human decency, that's the key.
Right. And they're all about cruelty. It's like cruelty is the point with these people. So thank you guys all for watching. I will be back on Friday. I'm going to be it's going to be like a 10-day or 11-day stretch of streaming, because I'm going to stream Friday, Saturday. Then on Sunday, DC, till the following Sunday, I'm going to stream every day in DC. And then we have a show Monday and Tuesday of the following week. So
It's
almost
gonna be a
2
lot.
weeks straight. So yeah, a lot of content incoming. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. Just about to hit 46,000 followers, and I am going to be live streaming
Somehow.
some stuff from DC. Yeah, which is crazy.
Guys, do you know if on this platform that they can save the conversation? Because there are really good tips and some addresses in the conversation. Are you able
Yeah,
to?
unfortunately,
Probably not, right?
when you
Yeah,
end
it
the live,
disappears.
it does not save the chat.
The chat on YouTube is
You
its
can
own
leave
thing.
comments. You can go
Okay.
onto the video and leave comments when it's in post edit. You know what I mean? Once it's posted to YouTube, you can go in and leave
Oh.
comments and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
you can go on
Oh.
the
But
YouTube
the
onto
conversation
it.
that we have during the live doesn't save, unfortunately.
Okay, Cindy, our actual director of membership for Stop
Yeah.
Moms for Liberty, put some really good suggestions in the comments.
Yeah,
So
she did.
Cindy, I know you're still listening. Could you put that in the comments under the video? Because
Yeah.
this will now be shared beyond tonight as well.
Yeah.
Correct. So
And
thank
I
you.
know you had said that some folks asked how to contact me. Actually, my cell phone number is on my Facebook page. Yep. Holler at your boy. Give me
There
a
you go.
call.
Yeah, do it.
I'll have to give you a call.
I'm not that kind of politician. Politicians try to hide from people and them
Right.
pastors. I'm
Exactly.
not like that.
I like
Good.
that. Easily accessible. I like that. It's perfect.
Well, this
So
was a great show.
thank
It really was.
this is an amazing show. Thank you all for watching. I will see you on Friday at 8 p.m. I love all of you. Thank you so much for the support. Don't forget, if you want to donate, you can still do so. The GoFundMe for this DC trip is in the link tree, which is in on our channel page as well. It's also in the description of this video. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We hope you get a little bit of inspiration from all of this. Get involved if you have kids that are in
Please.
school. Even if you have kids that are in school and you just care about our children's
Even if you
education.
don't have kids.
Community. Yeah.
I don't
Right,
have
just
kids,
get
and I care
involved.
about our future.
Yes. Yes.
Right, exactly. If you care about our future leaders
That's right.
of America, then we need to get involved. So thank you so much for watching. Everybody have a good rest of your night. And like always, we will talk to you soon.